gathered in their masses, just like witches at black masses. Evil minds that plot destruction, sorcerer of death's construction. In the fields of bodies burning, as the war machine keeps turning. Death and hatred to mankind, poisoning their brainwashed minds. Oh, Lord, yeah.
And Nasty. Host Randy Chevrier and Sheldon Napashka guide you through great stories that spark great conversations. Two really big guys talking a big game. The boys are locked in and ready to go. Welcome to the ride.
Yes, welcome to the ride, everybody. We are back on this fine Tuesday night. Not raining in Calgary for a change. What a wet summer it's been. But yeah, we are back for episode 85. And as always, we are brought to you by Performance Freight Management, We Drone Real Estate Media, and YYC Business Group here in Calgary. Welcome to all of you guys who could join us tonight. And Chev, welcome to you. A little bit of a different backdrop tonight.
Yeah, I'm just on the road, and I don't know if you can hear in the background, we have the Real American Hero going. So,
it's been a tough couple of weeks for Gen Xers.
Yeah,
hasn't it? Like we're talking some big legends,
cultural icons.
Cultural icons.
Since last Tuesday.
Yeah, all since last Tuesday.
Well, last Tuesday we lost Ozzy, and that's why
on Tuesday. Yeah,
right. And then after that, it was kind of a little domino effect. We lost Theodore Huxtable, Malcolm Jamal Warner. I think that might have been in the same day. He was 54, and then obviously the news came a little bit midweek last week. I think after our show about the Hulkster. And we'll talk about that later. But this is our 85th episode, guys, and I'm on the road. but that's the beauty of the internet. You can pack up your laptop, pack up your mic, pack up your headphones, and you can, as long as you got a good Wi-Fi signal, you could do the show. So that's what I'm doing tonight. I'm on the road, but here we are for the 85th episode. And with the 85th episode, we always celebrate some great athletes of the numbered episode. And tonight, we got a good host of guys up on the wall for you. So Trey, if you throw that up there, a few big NFL guys there. We've got three right there with George Kittle out on the right.
Yeah.
Great tight end with the San Francisco 49ers. And, he's really coming into his own. I don't know where he fits yet in the Travis Kelce, Rob Gronkowski talk. He's probably number 3 of those guys to me, but he's slowly making his way up the ladder, would you say?
Yeah, I would say. I mean, you're going to have to see a little bit more from him, but really, I mean, just, you know what? He just brings his entire self and his passion to the game. Like, my favorite thing about Kittle is honestly just watching him when he started a couple seasons ago, finding the camera that was on him, focused on him in the huddle. He always found the camera and would make eye contact and do his thing. He almost transcends the game in that way. Not he is a star for sure. But I love the fact that it shows me that he's so heads up in any given moment that he can be focused, he can play well, he can know his assignment, but he's still not afraid to have a little bit of fun. And as a fan, I mean, I love that, right?
Yeah, no, I appreciate his personality. And you talk about wrestling, talking about Hogan later. George Kittle is a huge WWE guy. And I think he's made quite a few appearances on the show. And I wouldn't be surprised if he winds up at a WrestleMania or something. And then below George there, we've got David Tyree right there. And if you see the ball to the helmet, he was renowned for the infamous or famous, depending on what side of the ball you're on, catch in the Super Bowl, Hail Mary from none other than the most mobile quarterback of all time, Eli Manning, who had to dodge like 15 guys. And then he throws up a Hail Mary, and David Tyree comes down with probably one of the catches of the century in such a big game, to basically give New York the field position that they needed to win against, at that time, I believe it was the undefeated Patriots. So very famous. I don't know if he's going to go down as an all-time great football player, but definitely one of the all-time great plays. And then above him, Ocho Cinco, none other than Chad Johnson. For those of you who don't know, my old teammate. He was a rookie in Cincinnati when I was a rookie. He was very quiet and mild-mannered. He was not the star of the show in those days. He had just been drafted with his buddy, fellow Oregon State Beaver, TJ Husmanzada, another great teammate of mine. And they were the probably 5th and 6th guys on the depth chart. There was Peter Warwick at the time. There was Westbrook. There was a couple of bigger name receivers in that day. But he slowly made his way into the persona he was. I believe it was when Terrell Owens got to Cincinnati. It kind of unleashed the Ocho Cinco personality. And the great thing about Ocho Cinco is not only was he a great football player, Sheldon, but he came up to the CFL and he talks about it.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to talk CFL later, but the CFL is always wondering how to get fans,
he gave him some love too. Like, he went on some of the big podcast circuit talking about his experience, and that was kind of cool to see. I'm a little bit shocked though that I always assumed that personality just followed him right from college, but he used to be a quiet guy. He was quiet.
We played a lot of Halo in Cincinnati, and he was part of the Cincinnati. Like, I brought our Halo club that I brought to Edmonton. And then I brought to Calgary. Well, it actually started in the dorms of Cincinnati. TJ, Ocho Cinco, Chad Johnson, we used to play. A bunch of us used to play. And he's a really, like, he drives I think he drives like a smart car. He eats McDonald's 4 times a day. Like, he's super frugal with his money. But you said it. He talks highly of the CFL, even though he didn't play a lot in the CFL. When he came up here, he realized it was a real deal. And, when we're going to talk CFL, and whenever we talk about what it takes to put young fans in the stands, it takes influencers like him, because he's probably a bigger influencer now that he's out of the game than he was when he's in the game. I mean, he's got his podcasts. He does a lot of ESPN stuff. Like, people know who he is. And a lot of them, didn't really follow football, but now they follow his podcast. And he has that influence. And I think that's what takes the CFL to the next level, is getting those influencer type people to games to talk about them, to influence the youth, right? And then finally, Sheldon, 185 for us. We have his former teammate of ours, 7 years, I believe, with the Calgary Stampeders, Kenyon Rambo.
Love that guy.
Dude, he was the best. Was he not the best?
Dude, he came into the locker room and he's the guy that you just instantly liked. You know, a guy that, you know, he walks in there and he had a little bit of NFL experience and all that, but he was never a star. He walked in and he got to know every guy on the team. He would just come talk to you, whether you felt like talking or not. He would just come talk to you. And he always had that big smile.
Infectious.
Infectious.
And he came in at a time the same year that we signed Jermaine Copeland. We had just re-signed Nick Lewis after his rookie deal. So we had some big time receivers. And
I don't even know if Rambo made the starting roster in week 1. Like he might have even spent a little bit of time on the practice roster.
And once he got in, he never looked back. He had the speed. Like he was with the fourth member of the bobsled, and great team. You know, he was actually my teammate. I'm going to tell you this. Him and I were teammates in the East-West Shrine game. We were teammates in Dallas. We were teammates in New York, and then we wind up being teammates in Calgary. So we kind of followed each other around. Hey, I got a comment here from Rubio. It says CFL should offer better food. I'll tell you what, Rubio, if you want to hear about food, I have a story for you that's coming up in the second segment. You're not going to want to miss this one. It's terrible. It's absolutely.
Actually, you don't want to miss that one. I'm looking forward to hearing that one in first person as well.
Yeah.
But you know what? We are going to toss Jamin a bone here, because he brought up another name that we haven't talked about, and a guy that's gotten a lot of publicity this year with what he's going through with his family. Milt Stegall, number 85, Winnipeg Blue Bombers. A guy, he broke my heart many times with his big plays on the field. My favorite heartbreak, though, wasn't mine. My favorite play from Milt Stegall was, do you remember, I think it was for the playoffs, to get into the playoffs or first round of the playoffs, Winnipeg playing Danny Bachocha and the Edmonton Eskimos. You might have been even on that team. Do you know the play I'm talking about?
I don't know.
It's third and forever. It's like 3rd and 13. All Edmonton has to do is throw in a prevent defense to end the game. Right.
You and I were in the hotel room watching this game.
We were watching it together. And Danny Bachocha, the defense blitzes. They sent.
It was Rick Campbell's guys. It was Rick Campbell was the D coordinator, if you recall.
Yeah, Rick Campbell was the coordinator.
I remember,
was the head coach, wasn't he?
Yeah, they were backed up in their own end zone. You and I are watching this, and it's a Friday night, and we're again in our underwear doing the show. And we watch. Who was it? Who was the quarterback at the time? Would it have been Dinwiddie? No, not even Dinwiddie. Maybe Kevin Glenn. I don't
Probably
know
Kevin Glenn. Jamin, tell us, fill us in. Was it Kevin Glenn? I bet you it was Kevin Glenn.
Could have
been Kahari Jones. Was it that long ago?
You know what is in that era, but throws the bomb down the middle. I remember you and I remember, Sheldon, we looked at each other.
What are you doing?
Jaws dropped, and he was it 101 yard touchdown, 105 yard
my jaw dropped right when they started sending guys. It was just like it's probably one of the worst calls I've ever seen in CFL history. Like we'll talk about the BC Lions in the second half of the game coming up in the second.
Yeah.
But it was
one of the greatest players. Unfortunately, terrible tragedy hit Milt's family this year with the loss of his son. Came back to the panel, I believe, last week. But you know, one of the all-time great receiver in the CFL. I mean, he's top 3 in terms of, if you got to name someone, he's got to be your top 1, 2, or 3. But you know what? He's doing a great job on the panel for TSN. And yeah, we can't forget about him. He wasn't a teammate of ours. Would have liked to see him win a Grey Cup at one point in his career. Actually, did he not re-sign? Was it this year with the Bombers for training camp, or was it the year before?
That was a few years ago now. That was a few years ago.
We were doing the show. We were doing the show. So it was either this year or last year.
Yeah, it wasn't this year. It would have been last year then.
It would have been last year.
Yeah, I love Milt Stegall. But anyway, I'll tell you what, we're going to welcome some more people here. Ernie Regas in Regina. Ernie and Diane, welcome to the show. We got Sir Benjamin here tonight. We've got mixed martial artist here tonight. So welcome to the show, guys. And yeah, with that, he's not a number 85, but he was one of the greats in the CFL. And by greats, I mean one of the great poets in all-time CFL history. And that's our very own Randy Chevrier. So with that, Chev, Trey, let's kick in a little 300-pound poetry.
Let's do it.
And now, 300-pound poetry with Chevy and Nasty.
Start over. You're
We
cut
are
off.
the 300-pound poets, but we don't think it shows. When our shirts come off, well, the belly is starting to show.
Was he a real American hero, or was he a fading American dream? Did you say your prayers and eat your vitamins, or was the Hulkster just an internet meme?
After a long, drawn-out trial, the judge delivered her Hockey Canada decision, but in the court of public opinion, there's still a lot of division.
But where there's no debate is watching Robert Carter Jr.'s pick. The BC Lion rookie's highlight reel play was absolutely sick.
From studs or duds to everyday miscues, we try to agree, but we don't always share the same views.
We are Chevy and Nasty. As we get this show rolling, we can feel it in the air. Ridomania is growing. Can we call it Ridomania? Like, there you go.
Yeah. I mean, that song still gives me goosebumps from back in the day. Doesn't it? Like, I think I was 6 or 7 when Hulkamania first started, when wrestling went from watching it on Saturdays when I was watching, the Calgary Stampede with all the OG Canadian wrestlers, to where the WWF started becoming a big thing. But Hulk Hogan to me was like my first idol, my first star that I ever, came across in my lifetime.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, Sheldon. I mean, we grew up, and the guys of our generation, a lot of guys that listen to this show and watch this show, he was the primetime guy in our youth. You talk about growing up in the 80s. I was 10 by 86, and by the time he body slammed Andre, I was 10. So even if you were a teenager in the 80s, growing up watching Hulkamania, you got to understand there was no internet there. Wrestling may or may not have been fake growing up in the 80s. There wasn't these larger than life characters. There was no influencers. The world was a little simpler. There was good guys and bad guys.
I'm going to jump in one. I'm
Go ahead.
sorry to interrupt you, but I'm about to fight Rubio. Name me a Canadian wrestler, dude. Bret the Hitman Hart.
Jeez. Dwayne Rock Johnson. His dad's Rocky Johnson. He's Canadian.
The Rock's not Canadian, dude.
He's got Canadian roots. His dad's from, I believe he's from Moncton, New Brunswick or something.
He got cut from the Calgary Stampeders.
Yeah. Well,
but
he didn't use his Canadian passport. But there's not. Yeah. Come on, Rubio. Get out of here. The Rougeau, the Mountie, the Rougeaus.
So, but you know what, Edge? Yeah, there you go. But that's the funny thing. So I was off at a family reunion this weekend in Regina, and you remember friend of the show, Kurt Pagno. He never does this. He always catches us the next day. But he flew into Calgary with his entourage just to meet Bret Hart. And we're talking about Hulk and Bret this weekend. And he's a few years younger than me, so his Hulk Hogan really was Bret Hart, right? Yeah. For me, I felt this one. I knew he's getting older, but and I know he's been a controversial figure to some over parts of his career, but I think that's what's been great about his persona. As a wrestler, he was my absolute hero. He was my role model. That he's a reason I took vitamins, and I didn't do the training when I was 10 or 12, right? But I sure did the prayers and the vitamins. And I always dreamt of what it would be like to walk out in a crowd of 90,000 people and tear off that shirt and just hear people explode. It just fueled the young man's imagination, right? It's the Hulkster. It's Hulkamania.
Absolutely. And again, I'm just going back to the era that we're in, that wrestling was larger than life. Hogan was the one that put wrestling on the map in terms of its place in pop culture. There was no MMA back then. There was either boxing or wrestling. And Hogan was a larger than life superhero. If you grew up reading, there was no Marvel movies. You got to understand the context of where this person's place is in history. Like a guy like Trey, he's a 20-year-old guy. He knows who Hogan was to wrestling, but you can't place yourself in the context of this person was so big and there was no internet algorithms to make him big. There was no social media to repost videos. There was none of that stuff. And he rose above that and became this absolute cultural icon. I mean, he appeared in the Rocky movie. He made that part of the movie great. His action figures, he turned
cartoon.
Yes, everything he touched and those days turned to gold in a time when it was a lot of work. He was that big. But I think, when I think about the Hulkster and again, I love Hulkamania. I listen to that music. I get the goosebumps. I feel it. I loved wrestling. That was the heyday of wrestling when Hogan slammed Andre, when Hogan fought the Warrior, when Hogan fought Sergeant Slaughter for Desert Storm, the handshake with Macho Man. He was a larger than life character. And in those days, we did not know Terry Bollea. It's not like now that many of the great wrestlers, whether you talk about John Cena, The Rock, they carry their own name and their persona is sort of an extension of who they are. The Rock is probably not the Rock that shows up on wrestling. And John Cena is not the John Cena that shows up in wrestling. But Hulk Hogan was this alter ego that I don't think he ever got away from. And I think all those things that we said were missing in the 80s, when they showed up, I think they're the things that did him in. Wrestling became a little bit less black and white. The internet followed you everywhere. If you were going to be a real American hero, you had to live it 24/7. Otherwise, the first crack in the foundation, people will destroy you. And I think that's what happened to the Hulk at the end. And there's a lot of chatter last week when he died. It's like, oh, are you celebrating his death? Are you happy? Are you sad? I mean, gosh, I feel bad he's gone.
That teacher had to step back her comments about, oh my, thank God, one less MAGA. Because he did become
I didn't know about this. I didn't know about this.
It's some teacher, I think, lost her job, or she retracted her words really quickly, because you think what you want about Hulk Hogan, but you can't wish death on one side of the political party. That's how, because of course he was famous for coming in during Trump's final rallies. And I'll tell you what, I watched the rally that he did for Trump, and I still got goosebumps. I mean, he still came up there and owned the stage. Whether you agree with his politics or some of the things he's done, I'm sorry, he was a hero to me when I was 12. He's going to be a hero of mine till the day I die. I'm going to miss Hulk Hogan. Yes, he's gone.
So I'm going to miss him too, but I don't know what his legacy is and where he stands for. Like, I love Hulk Hogan. Like I said, the character of Hulk Hogan, the wrestler, is great. At some point, I think he didn't know who Hulk Hogan was and Terry Bollea is, because some of the stuff that happened, I'm like, I don't fault him for being a Trump supporter. Hey, it's his right. It's his right to go out on stage. Yeah, a lot of people hate him for that. Well, that's stupid to hate a guy for political opinions.
Yeah, Beyonce gets up for the Dems. I love Beyonce.
Yeah, whether you hate the person they're representing or not doesn't give you a right. But I mean, he did get caught with a sex tape. Some real racist rants that some people can't get over. Understandable.
He had a sex tape. I didn't even know.
Yeah, he had on his sex tape is where he did a lot of his racist rants. He's notorious for having been a serial liar. Lot of his persona was keeping the young talent down, and that probably was also an extension of Vince McMahon. So there's a lot of
he was the snitch with the McMahon's group or whatever.
I got a text from Bret Hart.
Okay, let's hear what did Bret Hart say?
I got a text from Bret Hart, and first thing in the morning, before you guys texted me, before Trey texted me, I got a text from Bret, and he's like, Hulk Hogan died. I was like, oh wow. And I know that Bret has strained relations with certain wrestlers, and I can't keep up with what's what. And I said, well, how does that make you feel? Like he's like, well, he wasn't surprised that it happened, maybe some health issues and something, but he's like, he really was no friend of mine, especially at the end. That was Bret's words. And he said, I feel bad that he's gone and stuff. And really, when you see these stars, the guys that we grew up idolizing, and in the industry, I was talking to Bret, I said, in the industry that we're in, we play football and him in wrestling. When you see your peers that you wrestled with, that you had relationship with, whether you're friends or not after the career is over, when you see them passing, like you and I have seen some teammates pass, it really puts you face to face with your own mortality, if anything. and makes you appreciate that, hey, you got a couple more days on the earth. Because there's guys that have passed in the last few years when we talk about wrestling that you're like, oh my God, he died. Oh, he died. And now one of the biggest icons of our time is gone. And it sure makes people think like this guy. I mean, he's the Hulkster, 24-inch pythons, the big the big leg drop. Like, he's gone. And, you know, for guys in those locker rooms that time, like, you know, we're talking about the Sergeant Slaughters, the Bret Harts, the Ric Flairs. That's got to give these guys a look in the mirror and say, holy, if Hulkster's, you know, ticker stopped or whatever it is, you know, I gotta check myself, right? And I always think about that. Even, you know, last year we had a couple of teammates that passed. It's that mortality thing, right? So even the legendary, the immortal Hulk Hogan had his day, and yeah, I'm with you. I'm sad that he's gone. I wish he didn't tarnish his own legacy towards the end, but the damage he did was because, you know, how can you be a superhero 24/7 with cameras and internet and all the things that didn't exist in the 80s that allowed him to be a superhero? Was everything that they did him in the end. And in fact, it's so sad that his last appearance for WWE was at WrestleMania when he was flaunting his Real American beer. And I think he was booed off the stage. And that, you know, maybe that had something to do with the decline in health when he came face to face with his own, not mortality as a human being, but the mortality of his identity as the Hulkster. Who knows?
Yeah, you know what? I think there's still a good number, good amount of people in the country that absolutely love the guy. And like I always say, I don't expect my heroes to be perfect. Yeah, but he was definitely a hero. Guys, we're going to take a break here in a second, but just a reminder, we appreciate everything you guys do on social media, the likes and the shares. Keep it going. This really helps out our algorithms to get more new people onto the show. Trust me, we appreciate it. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about another Canadian sport. Well, I guess it's more Canadians in trouble in the media this week in the trial that just took place in Ontario with the whole Hockey Canada scandal. That and a whole lot more when we come back.
Performance Freight Management is a global logistic freight shipping company that will handle the entire shipping process for any package to any country. Whether it be a simple truck shipment from your office to Toronto or your company importing generators from China, PFM Freight handles it all. We have the expertise and technology to handle any shipping requirements. Skip the guesswork and let us take the shipping pain off your plate.
Do you want your business to be known? YYCCalgaryBusiness.ca is Calgary's only online media platform that gets you noticed. Short-form video content is rapidly taking over as the most effective way to engage your audience. Whether you're being interviewed on a vodcast, sharing a sizzle reel, or even hosting your own show, there is one place you can publicize your business. We want to tell your story and introduce you to our network of empowered business owners and leaders right here in Calgary. Isn't it time you took your digital game to 11? Call us or email us now.
Welcome back. It's The Ride, episode 85, brought to you by Performance Freight Management, We Drone Real Estate Media, and YYC Business. Yeah, Sheldon, there's a lot of people, again, just to put a bow on the Hulkster thing, a lot of people that, adored him, even into his late days, even when he turned heel with the Hollywood Hulk thing at WCW, but the one contribution I would say that people cannot deny is he is the person that paved the way for all the future wrestlers to get the fame and the fortune they're getting, whether it's the movie deals, the money, the sold out Madison Square Gardens, the pay-per-views, the streaming services. He put WWE on the map and he created a platform for people to use athleticism and charisma and acting and physique to tell stories and to get paid. And I think for that, every guy that's in that company owes him that much of a debt of gratitude, because he wore that on his shoulders for a long time. I mean, anywhere he went, he sold out stadiums and people wanted to see the Hulkster.
Doesn't make him perfect. I tend to trust Bret Hart's opinion an awful lot, but even that comment from Bret, I take that as respectful, right? Just he's not dissing the guy. They weren't close friends.
Yep.
But I'm sure he acknowledges what both of those guys have. I'm sure there's some guys that don't like Bret.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you can't like everyone in an industry that's ego driven, right? Because when the industry says, hey, Sheldon, you're going to be the champ this week, and I've been fighting my whole life for that opportunity, but all of a sudden you just show up and you just have more charisma and you sell more t-shirts.
Cut me to promote you on the Stampeders.
Yeah, fair enough.
I think that's what happened.
Revisionist history. But listen, we talked about one topic that wasn't as heavy, but we're going to get into this because last week, the judge in the Hockey Canada trial for the 5 players that were accused of rape, made her decision and basically not guilty all across. And not only did she deliver a not guilty verdict, she really hammered into the accuser, I guess going by the name of EM, and really poked at her credibility. Sheldon, I don't want to get too deep into this because I'm not a lawyer and I didn't follow the trial so closely. But where do you stand on this? Like, how do you feel after this? Were you one of those people that was like, oh yeah, she's lying, she's trying to ruin these guys' careers? Are you one of these people that, hey, she's a victim, she has the right to speak? Are you happy, or do you just feel this sense of this guttural, like nothing good came out of this?
Well, you know what, to be honest with you, from the time the accusations came on, I was actually mad. When it first came back, was going back to court, I'm like, honestly, the police let this thing slide. It sounded credible, and it sounded like, oh my God, there is a problem in culture, and this is the first time we've seen it called out. And I've got to say, for the last 2 years, from the time what's his name with the Flames kind of just disappeared. He was
Dylan Dubé
disappeared, and then all of a sudden they just let him go. That I was like, it's about time that we get some justice for these kind of things. These POSs, there's no room for them to be glorified in professional sports. And I felt very strongly that they were guilty just through all the media content, everything that was put out there. The guys looked guilty of sin, and I believe that they were guilty. And it wasn't until the trial started, and I started following kind of the Twitter feeds and some things that were going on the trial. I'm like, dude, that's not what I was led to believe at all.
Yeah.
And this isn't a case of, men won, men got their way. This honestly was, I believe these guys were guilty. But I was shocked to see how many twists and turns this trial took. For instance, like text messages about, yes, this is consensual, to video evidence of things that were said. I won't get into it because we're not, I'm not trying to the bottom of the barrel bring up some of the stuff that was said. But it was shocking. And to be honest with you, I mean, I've been in pro locker rooms. I've been, I've been on this earth long enough that I'm not shocked by what happened in that hotel room.
Yep.
In fact, there was a time and day where that was one of those nights that everybody just walks away from and says, oh my God, did that really just happen? Both on the female side and the male side. This a little more depraved than anything I've ever personally witnessed in my life. And in fact, I don't think back in the 90s it quite got this bad. Maybe in the 70s. I think stuff like this happened in the 70s. Well, but I mean, it was an absolute orgy that was going on there, that the day after, when the sun comes up and the light's shining on it and real life implications come in. And I'm not blaming EM necessarily. I just get that, oh my God, this changed my life. I had a boyfriend. I had to call and confess. I had to talk to my mom. It completely derailed her life. And before I walk away, and let you take the mic is, and I think as this all comes down and sits on her shoulders, I think it's really easy to say, yeah, those guys treated me like a dog. That was what happened in that room was wrong. And I think what happened in that room was wrong.
Yeah.
But I don't think it passed the threshold of unconsensual. I don't think there was any threats to not leave. I think it was a night that went way out of control. She was 21. They were 18. I think it's just, and everybody there was young. I think it spun out of control, and there was just a whole lot of regret and resentment afterwards. I guess it's a good thing it came to trial. She had her say, they had her say. I'm comfortable with the decision, but I don't think anybody won.
Yeah, I'm with you on that. I'm with you on that. And a lot of people will say, well, you know, how come she settled? How did the lawsuit get settled without going to court? And I heard a lawyer talking about this, and he said, listen, when it comes to a lawsuit doesn't have to be proven with, meet the same threshold as a criminal court. So in the criminal trial, it has to be like a 99.9% burden of proof to prove that these guys are guilty, which didn't exist. In a lawsuit situation, it's two parties sit and say, well, there's a probability that this could have happened, and there's a probability that it couldn't have happened. And when they figure out what the probability based on whatever they use to calculate, say, well, you know, they're athletes. Yep, it might have happened. They put a number on it and they make it go away. And right or wrong, they say, well, you know what? There's a 40% chance that this didn't happen, but there's also a 60% chance that it did. This is what we're going to pay you.
And then they can get into the nuances where you can say, yes, maybe it wasn't to a level of criminal, but that shouldn't have happened. But there's got to be a price attached to that.
And that being said, Hockey Canada settled out of court with this woman without even the boys, the men, knowing that was going on. The court, once TSN got hold of this, and they reported that the settlement had happened, then public pressure was issued to get the police to reopen, and that's how it all got reopened. And then it went to court, went to trial. The judge issued her verdict, and this is where it stands. The burden of proof was not there to suggest these guys were guilty. The problem is this: if you are someone who defends, and again, anyone that's a victim of sexual assault should be going to the police and should be heard and should be protected, because that happens. It happens a lot, and it happens every day. That being said, this court case showed that you've got to be doing it beyond the shadow of a doubt. And I think that's why the judge came down so hard on this.
I think it goes beyond that. It's got to be factual.
Yeah, it's got to be.
Tell you what, like my heart goes out to EM. I know it changed your life, but what did I just say? I called Dylan Dubé a POS.
Yeah,
I wanted him to get what he deserved.
Yeah,
I was convinced that this young punk. I started like hating him on the ice, and all the times I thought he's a little too cocky for his own good. I'm like, yeah, that's exactly the kind of guy that would do this. It completely changed the way I looked at him, and it also changed these guys' career trajectories.
But Sheldon, what I was going to say is this: is the hard thing people don't have space for. This is the thing. A verdict like this, and again, I read all the comments on Twitter, a lot of them.
I just read the rulings. I don't care what people say, but yeah, keep going.
But what I'm saying, in the court of public opinion, which we talked about in the poem, people cannot make space in their minds that maybe she did consent to these things. Her parents will never be able to make space in their mind for, hey, wait a second, maybe this is the right ruling. No one will ever, anyone who's defending victims, who is rightfully so, and anyone that's a victim of sexual assault that's behind EM in this can all of a sudden say, well, maybe she wasn't exactly forthright, and maybe the testimony is like they're going to cling to it. And then on the flip side, we can't forget that this did happen. Like, just because people are like, there's people that will say, oh yeah, it's a victory. No, it's not a victory for men. You know what's terrible about this is that somewhere these guys think that was okay. And you talk about the locker room.
Okay. Are you talking about the commenters on social media or the players involved?
No, the players involved.
No, they don't think it's okay. Dude, they had a night. They had a night. She was involved in it. It went way too far, induced by alcohol. You tell me right now that you never in your prime had a night. I'm not talking about something like this, that alcohol did not.
I'm telling you about something like, so this is where I'm going with this, Sheldon. If I'm the parents of those guys, I'm happy my kids aren't going to jail, but I'm absolutely ashamed that my son took part in that.
100%.
Because you know what?
And I'm ashamed my daughter did. I'm ashamed
Yeah.
of all of them. Chef.
Absolutely. Because I was a you were,
Actually,
I was.
I'll even say now we're slut shaming both. Can I say that? Sorry, YouTube. Both men and women.
No, but
at the end of it, here's how I look at it, and you can argue with me here in a second. They did what came natural to them that night, and it went way further than they intended to. Men and a woman, it went way further than anybody intended it to go or ever thought it would go. It was fun at the time, but it ain't no fun no more.
I'll tell you what, though, for me, what this does for me is to have a talk with my kids, because again, you were in a locker room, I was in a locker room. You talked about it. I was in a locker room. I was in a hotel where I won't say what team I was with, and I won't say what roommate I was with, but it wasn't you for sure.
It wasn't you. My story.
Yeah, where a teammate come down and says, "Hey, guess what? There's a girl upstairs, and she is sleeping with 5 or 6 guys. Come on up." And guess what I did? I said no, and I went to bed. And there have been situations where that came up. And that type of, and that is not my bag. That is not my cup of tea. And because I know that for me, do what you want. But my parents, I guess, didn't raise me that way. That's not the way I was raised. So I don't believe in that. And I'm not saying I'm better than that. I'm holier than that. But guess what? Keeping myself out of those situations
you had
will
the
keep
opportunity
me
to be in that room. And you did, and you didn't. And my story is very similar, but we're going to leave it there because I don't want to.
But what I'm saying is keeping myself out of those situations, keep me out of a situation where now maybe my career is ruined because it's a case of he said, she said, and that could have happened to any guy that I knew that was in that room that night. Yeah. That could have happened anywhere on any pro team. There's stories like that all the time.
So what I will say about this, I will take it away from he said, she said. I'll say it's not a victory for men or it's a victory for women.
Definitely.
You know what struck me the most of this is in a very polarized political climate, I think our justice system got it right. It's a bad taste in everybody's mouth.
Yes.
But I think they got it right. I think these guys got shamed. I think she got called out for changing the story. And at the end of the day, everybody paid a price, but no one's going to jail because I don't think there was a crime that was committed.
Yeah,
and Sheldon, I'm surprised that our justice system, based off of what I read, and I could be wrong, guys, I'm not an expert on the case. I think they got it right.
Yeah. Well, Sheldon, I think I agree with you. Bad taste in your mouth. Like the judge said, there was no crime committed, but we're going to change gears where there was a crime committed. Was at McMahon Stadium on Thursday night when I went to the football game with my son because Rubio is waiting for us to talk about food. So let's switch gears. I thought that was a great talk, great debate. We put some good points on that, but let's get into the CFL. And Sheldon, do you want to hear the story, or do you want where do you want to go with the CFL?
Story? Change it up, Chev. I saw a little bit in the text line, but I haven't heard the whole thing yet. So
okay, Rubio. So this is the food story. So here we go. So I've been retired from the Stamps since 2016, 2017. I don't know. I haven't played. And as part of the alumni, like when you play your alumni dues, $50 a year, you get to go to the Red and White Club, as it used to be called. Now it's the Stamps House, and basically it's the big reception hall on the south end zone or the north end zone of McMahon, the old Red and White Club there, and they host a feast where you go pregame and there's food. I have never done it, and basically all I had to do was RSVP and say, hey, I'm going to take 2 tickets to the Stamps House, as long as I had 2 game tickets. And anytime I've ever gone to a game since I retired, I just show up for kickoff, watch the game. And on Labor Day, I would tailgate outside. That's all I've ever done. I've never done this Stamps House thing. So last week, friend of the show, John Bender, calls me up. He's like, hey, you want my tickets to Stamps House? Blah, blah, blah. You can go. I got a couple extras. I'm like, well, I think I could get my own. And my other boys were working, and I was home, and my son Kyle was with me. I was like, I think I'm going to take Kyle to the Stamps House. And because Johnny Free Shit loves a good free thing, but I didn't know what was there. Hey, Sheldon, I walk into Stamps House. I bought $15 tickets. First of all, I bought because it was the throwback night, and I bought tickets in M, $15 each, one for me, one for Kyle. So I spent $30. I walk into the Stamps House, and I walk in, and they have my name and name tag. I had told them I was coming. They're like, "Oh yeah, you're gonna love it." I said, "This is my first time." They're like, "Just walk up the stairs, turn left." and just walking in the food. Sheldon, holy crap. I walked in, there was prime rib, there was sushi, and it was all free.
So, okay, tell me more, because I haven't been there in 10, 15 years.
Sheldon.
So the prime rib's always been a standard. What else was there in front of you? Like, what did they have?
Prime rib with scalloped potatoes and broccolini, the long ones.
Yeah.
Then further down, they had chicken tenders on the same thing with pigs in a blanket, and they had some other type of fish, I think salmon. Then they had a sushi station. They had a deli station in the middle with sandwiches, chips, popcorn, like the really good like Cracker Jack type popcorn. Then they had a dessert station. Like Sheldon, they had a chocolate fountain. They had fresh fruit, like not the canned, the like real strawberries and pineapple and you
just flown in from Hawaii
and Rice Krispie squares that you could dip into the dip chocolate. Like Sheldon, it was unbelievable. And I'm like, I looked at my son Kyle. I'm like, Kyle, we are never leaving this place. And it was all you can drink pop. And I like if I'm going to a game with my son, I'm not drinking a beer or anything. I'm just having pop. We sat down, Sheldon. I ate 4 slabs of prime rib with some of that very hot horseradish that they carry. You know, the one I was talking about when I went to the Flames game.
What's it called again? What's it called?
It's called beaver something. Beaver. I don't know. It was the same one. I almost died.
Oh, you'll remember that one.
I had four. I didn't say poutine, Chris, but they probably had it there. I just didn't find it because I crushed 4 slabs of prime rib, two helpings of scalloped potatoes, like on 2 different plates, plus the broccoli. Then I did a soup with a grilled cheese on French. What was that? French brioche bread? Why not? I crushed loads of popcorn, sushi, and then I hit the dessert. And this is the guy who gave up sugar. I couldn't resist. Sheldon, I ate so much. By the time we got to our seats, I was dying. I was dying. And if I could share this on the air, guys, I ate so much. Like I ate so much that I had to leave in the second quarter. I hate to share this on the air, but I had to go poop and throw up. That's how much I ate.
Wow.
That's how much I ate.
That's like a legendary gluttonous story.
I made up for 17. How many years? 2017. Like I made up for about 8 years of not going to the Red and White Club in one day. I was going to get my fill.
Wow. Wow. Okay. Now let me ask you this. Now here's the test if you're a true glutton or not. So you hit the bathroom. Yeah. You recycle the food in your stomach. Did you come back and grab a dessert?
Of course. At halftime, we were right back in there cleaning up the dessert table because they take away the prime rib and stuff because that all the food is, but anything that's dessert or sides like chips, they had bags of chips. They still had deli sandwiches. They had what else? Whatever it is. I was there at halftime with Kyle.
Let me jump
sitting down and eating some more.
Tell me if I'm on the right track here. So I am going to go and renew my alumni dues. I am going to head to a game. You and I are going to hit that table in the Red and White Club.
Well, if you get 2 tickets, but if you get 2 tickets and I got 2 tickets, we could go with Trey and Daryl one day and just have an eating contest right there in front of everyone.
No, I'm not doing that. I'm too old for that. It's been a long time since I've had to give up a dinner. But here's what I'm thinking. I'm going to take that brioche bun I think it was after the desserts way down on the far end at the deli station. I'm going to take those brioche buns over here. I'm going to slather one side with that beaver horseradish.
You're dead. You die.
Maybe not slather. I'll put on light. But over top of that, I'm going to slather some of the scalloped potatoes. It's going to be a creamy way to soothe it out. If I can mix it up in a bowl pre-hand, I will do that. But I'm going to have like a spicy hot scalloped potato base to my sandwich, over which I am going to take just 1 thick slab or 2 thinner slabs of prime rib. Then I'm going to hit the deli station because I'm just a cheese fanatic. Yeah. And I'm going to find a cheese. If they've got brioche buns, I'm sure they have some nice cheeses. I'm going to top it with that, some salt and pepper, and close it up. I think that would be a hell of a sandwich.
It would be an amazing sandwich. Sheldon, they had everything there. Like my eyes were so big. I didn't even care. I said, Kyle, go get food. While I'm eating, just go get food. I was eating like they were taking it away. I said, Kyle, you're not eating anything now. Go find some food and bring it to me. Like I was just eating, and there was people I knew there. Like it wasn't like people didn't know me. Like people knew me from playing. I was sitting right next to Counselor Sonia Sharp, who's running for mayor she was sitting right next to me, and I was like, leave me alone, world. I am getting my food in. And again, then I ran back into the Red and White Club, and that's where I did my business before halftime. Also, one of the cleanest bathrooms you'll find in McMahon, which is great. Well, before I got in.
Yeah. Rubio says, if Nasty's there, he's taping up his wrists and putting on eye black to truly focus. Dude, you heard me. I'm going in with a plan. I am watching film. I might even try this out a few weeks leading up to it just to make sure I execute on game day. But trust me, Rubio, I will execute that.
I got to tell you, I had no plan. I didn't know it was hitting me. It was like I don't know what it was, but it was like I was like you know what I was? I was who's the fat kid that went to Willy Wonka's chocolate factory and he was so fat that he got kicked out. Yeah. I was that kid. Augustus Gloop. Yeah. Augustus Gloop. I was Augustus Gloop. I had no clue what I was walking into, and I just crapped myself and puked myself right out of the chocolate factory. In fact, I missed the whole second quarter because I was stuck in Charlie's chocolate factory. But you know, this is the thing. My actual plan, I didn't even plan on going to. I would plan on actually making my first appearance to the Red and White Club on the 9th of August for the Als game, for the game against, I think it's the Red Blacks are coming here. And I was going to go with Brittany. I'm actually really glad that I got that out of the way before, because imagine if I did that while Brittany was
take a date that you do not want to make that move when you take it.
Like, hey babe, go get me another slab of prime rib while I crush this 7 sandwiches I just got. So I'm glad I did the pre-scouting mission. Because I don't think I'm going to do that again. I'm probably going to go really light on the prime rib and the pineapple and the dessert.
So that's it, folks. He says that, but we already know. Well, maybe with the plan, it'll be better. Guys, get your tickets for the Montreal game.
It's the Bombers game. Bombers
game on August 9th. And find a package where you can join us in the Red and White Club.
Yes.
Watch Chevy and Nasty take down the buffet. You guys can join in with us and take it down as well.
So good.
So good. Anyway, Chev, here's the problem that we have now, though. We just talked for 15 minutes on court cases and 15 minutes on that food that I'm totally intrigued by now. We haven't touched anything on the CFL, and we got 9 minutes left in the show. I'm going to suggest that we go to break right now. Let everybody grab a drink and a snack.
Yeah.
And when we come back, we're going to pick this up wherever you want to do it, Chev. You got the lead. I could be your co-pilot. Let's just see where this ride goes.
All right. Thanks for following us, guys. Thanks for joining us on our crazy stories. We'll be back in a minute.
Performance Freight Management is a global logistic freight shipping company that will handle the entire shipping process for any package to any country. Whether it be a simple truck shipment from your office to Toronto or your company importing generators from China, PFM Freight handles it all. We have the expertise and technology to handle any shipping requirements. Skip the guesswork and let us take the shipping pain off your plate.
Do you want your business to be known? YYCCalgaryBusiness.ca is Calgary's only online media platform that gets you noticed. Short-form video content is rapidly taking over as the most effective way to engage your audience. Whether you're being interviewed on a vodcast, sharing a sizzle reel, or even hosting your own show, there is one place you can publicize your business. We want to tell your story and introduce you to our network of empowered business owners and leaders right here in Calgary. Isn't it time you took your digital game to 11? Call us or email us now.
Welcome back to the ride. As Sheldon sits down, I want to thank you guys all for joining us right here on the ride with Chevy and Nasty. Every week we're brought to you by Performance Freight Management, We Drone Real Estate Media, and YYC Business. So Sheldon, this is what I think is the plan. Okay, we're going to get to studs or duds in a minute. But to wrap up my time at the game last week, there was a game that was played. The red hot Stampeders hosted the Montreal Alouettes, and they lost. But not only did they lose in the score, it was a close game. It was actually a pretty good game. They lost Vernon Adams Jr., their franchise starting quarterback. And I think that is probably one of the turning points of the week in terms of CFL news. They were on fire. They're heading in the right direction. They beat the Stamps, or they beat the Bombers twice. They beat the Riders. They were looking good. They lose Vernon Adams on a very, very innocuous hit, and he's out.
Yeah.
And then they couldn't keep the chains moving in the end. They kept giving Montreal opportunities to win, and they did. And it's funny because, they said he would be back, I believe, on Sunday.
Yep.
I bumped into him Sunday afternoon. I was walking I was walking with Brittany and our dog, and we were walking close to where he lives. I'm sure it was right where he lives. I won't say where. And he popped out of his building. We're like, "Hey, VA," and I introduced myself and stuff. I said, "How you feeling?" He said, "Well, it's a little groggy." And basically, he's had a history of being dinged a couple of times. In my estimation, watching the film, it wasn't a big hit. It didn't even look like it hit him in the head, but he said he got hit in the ear. The big deal is that it doesn't look like he's playing this week.
Yeah.
So we get PJ Walker, and we saw what he did in the NFL a couple of years ago, with Carolina, and we've been paying attention to him. He went to XFL. He did some good things in Green Bay. The Stamps are really high on him. He didn't get first team reps last week, especially coming off a short week, and that's probably why he didn't convert so well in the game. Do we see a drop for the Stamps, or is this an opportunity for a young guy to shine? What do you think?
I think we're going to see a bit of a drop for the Stamps. I like PJ Walker, but it's kind of this far into the season, he did not look sharp, and he certainly didn't look accurate. So there's he's going to. I'm not saying that he can't get his game back, but he struggled. Like, let's be honest, the guy really struggled. So this is going to be a bit of a tough period for the Stamps. We've had some injuries in the receiving core already. We don't have Bagleton, our leader there. This is going to be a real challenge for the Calgary Stampeders. But what it's going to come down to is, will the Stampeders? The CFL all comes down to, offensively, comes down to first down. Can you run the ball on first down? The Stamps most of the season have proven that they can. When you can't rely on that all the time. Can they come up with a package with PJ Walker to get the ball out into flats? Can we find a new way to use Philpott to start softening up, bringing defensive backs down? It's all going to be on we've got some good talent here. We've got some good players. PJ Walker is not sharp right now. But can we adapt our offense to him for the next couple of weeks to get some yardage on first down? If we're 2nd and 5, it doesn't take much to be successful in the game. But what we saw last week just was not going to work.
Yeah, and if I were a probability guy, in most cases, I would say this is the best week for it to have happened, because it's going against the Red Blacks, who haven't been playing well as of late. Problem is, the Red Blacks are the team that handed the Stamps their first loss of the season, and that was with Vernon Adams. So I don't know what to expect this week. I hope that PJ is the PJ that I was rooting for in the NFL when he came out of the XFL. I hope that this week he's got a full week of reps, because last week they had a very short week of practice.
Yeah.
And I'm sure the majority of the reps went, like, last week was the perfect storm. You got a short week. Your starting quarterback got all the reps. And next thing you know, he gets hurt, and you got a guy that probably got 0 to no reps. And I know that you got to always be ready, but when you're on a short week and you get no reps, it's a little different. So I think that was reflected in his play. I'm hoping that
some guys come out and shine then.
Absolutely.
Let me ask you. So the game that surprised me, and let's see if I can pull it up here. I think I already lost it, so I don't know the score yet. Right here, the game that shocks me, and this one killed me. I know that Winnipeg gets hot and cold during the regular season and the playoffs. I know that Toronto, Arbuckle, beat them in the Grey Cup last year.
Yep.
But Toronto goes into Winnipeg last week and wins 31-17. You talk about an upset loss of the Red Blacks over the Stampeders. This one, I can't understand this one. What are we seeing here? Who are the Winnipeg Blue Bombers? Have they finally hit the stage where they're too old to compete? Is Collaros not have enough spark? Or is this going to be like last year, where they look awful at times, but it's going to be their 6th consecutive trip to the Grey Cup?
Well, I think what I saw and watching the game and a lot of the highlights is the Toronto team that showed up last weekend versus Winnipeg might not have been the team all year, but that was the team that won the Grey Cup, because the takeaways, the big play receptions, the yards after catch, like everything
And
was
Arbuckle
in their
pushed-
favor.
And Arbuckle pushed it down the field when he needed to.
Yeah, he absolutely did. And Zach Collaros shared the load with Strevler, so I believe he was hurt. So that obviously, Winnipeg's going to ride or die with their starting quarterback. Strevler is not the quarterback that's winning them football games. He's the quarterback that's extending drives, but I don't know if he's the quarterback that's winning them football games. And when you got to rely upon him, I mean, Brady Oliveira had a decent game, but I think Winnipeg is on the downslide. You can't keep winning teams together forever. Even in a dynasty, that was Winnipeg. I mean, they've been successful for the last, 6-7 years.
Yeah.
You got to start trading parts away. They're getting rid of guys here and there, and their age is probably starting to show. But again, I don't want to take away from what Toronto did, because everything was working for them. If you go back and watch the highlights of that game, it was clinic. Now here's Trey showing off that he's number 4 in the total wins in our pool. Yes, Trey.
You know why he's saying that? I talked to him before the show. He picked Toronto in this game. He picked the Argos.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you the same thing, Trey, that I told Chevy last year. Just because you were right does not make you right.
Yeah. Well,
you know what?
Call.
But here's what we saw from Toronto. On the ground, Leybourne, 13 carries for 50 yards. It's only a 3.8 yard average, but it's 13 carries. They stuck with the run. McMahon, 8 carries for 34 yards, only a 4.2 yard average, but they stuck with the run. Nick Arbuckle, 32 yards on 3 carries. When he had to run with that ball, he ran. So they had over 100 yards rushing. By hook or by crook, they found a way to win the game. And then Arbuckle throws up 316 yards with 0 interceptions. Yeah. They played a clean game. And I'll tell you what, Chad Kelly is now on the 6-game injured reserve list. If Arbuckle, if they can get some confidence off of this, if they found a way to move the ball a little bit on first down, and if Arbuckle can continue to get beyond just the check down on second down, Toronto might be coming back. The defense looked good.
Yep. Well, Sheldon, you know what we'll do right now, because we talked a little CFL, we put a bow on that. Let's not get into too much of the breakdown. What we're going to do now is we're going to go studs and duds, and any individual performances, we'll put it through our studs or duds.
You got it.
Trey, hit the splitter.
Studs and duds.
Okay, so this is the one I want to ask you about. We got BC Lions playing Hamilton Tiger Cats. I'm a believer. I tell you every week. Sheldon, Bo Levi Mitchell. You see what he's doing with the Tiger Cats right now. Are they number 1 in the standings? Number 1 in the standings in the East, as far as, even though they're tied with Montreal for points, they got more points for. Bo Levi Mitchell is kicking ass. He's the Bo of old. So I know you're not a Bo fan. Is he a stud or is he a dud?
Absolute stud right now. I'll tell you, I'm not convinced he's the hottest quarterback in the league, but he has refound his game and this chemistry with Kenny Lawler and company. There's something going on there where I still see him at times looking a little bit squeamish, a little bit inaccurate, but I'll tell you what, Chev, his competitive nature is coming out, and when it counts, I can't remember who the target was at the end of the game versus the Lions. But when he needed to hit an open receiver streaking down the field, he made the read, he made the throw, and it was on point. If he could, and that play that I thought was probably across the line of scrimmage, that little shovel pass to keep the drive going, he's showing everything that he showed us back in Calgary, back in his prime. So yeah, I think we're seeing a bit of a resurgence. And I don't mind saying I didn't like Bo Levi the last 3 years because I didn't like the way he played.
Yep.
Right now,
I'll tell you,
I like the way he's playing. He looks like when Henry Burris started to make his resurgence late in his career. Yeah. I would love to see it. The CFL needs more stars at quarterback, and I don't know where he went for 5 years, but he's welcome back to the CFL.
Well, I don't think it was 5 years. It was probably something
easy.
Like
20. When did he get replaced by Jake Mayer?
Last year. And then the year before was kind of the in and out year. So it's been about 4 years, maybe 5. But you know what?
He was already in Hamilton.
You couldn't say if he was the hottest quarterback in the league. I can unequivocally say he's the hottest quarterback in the league. First of all, 7 games played. So that means he's healthy. He's got 179 completions, for 260 attempts, and that gives him 2,200 yards. That's 200 yards higher than the next closest guy, which is Nick Arbuckle. But the big one, Sheldon, the big one. Touchdowns to interceptions.
Yes.
15 touchdowns to 3 interceptions.
Wow. That
Bo is back. He's
that
an
is
absolute
insane.
stud. But in that game, we also saw someone that jumped out of your television screen and made probably, Sheldon, the highlight play catch. I don't think we have to say stud or dud, but we needed to acknowledge this.
Let's just watch this.
Watch the clip. Watch the clip.
And I don't think we have the clip.
Yeah, no, he's got it. He's got it. Here we go. Let's hit it.
109 on the clock.
There's Bo dropping back.
Lots of time.
Beautiful pass. Where did it go?
What a pick by Robert Carter. Brendan O'Leary Orange. Oh my goodness, what a catch by Carter. And the drive ends there.
Just
Unbelievable.
watch it. For those of you guys that didn't see this, watch the replay. This is absolutely
crazy
unbelievable
thing.
by Carter, a rookie defensive back.
By the rookie out of Robert Morris in Pittsburgh.
He is air like Jordan.
Wow. This is an unbelievable catch.
He goes over the top of O'Leary Orange, who's
Oh
6
my
inches
You
taller
gotta
than
be
him.
kidding me.
One hand.
Unbelievable.
So the neat thing, so for me, obviously, absolute stud, Chef, for me. The only thing I'll add to that is, I don't know if you watched the game. I caught it afterwards. They showed he made the same one-handed pick in university as
In
a
college,
rookie in college the year before.
Yeah,
This
Robert Morris.
This guy's an amazing athlete, man. That was exciting. I love that.
Yeah, that's, you know what? You talk about what puts butts in seats, plays like that that get talked about on US Sports Center, where a guy climbs the ladder. And yeah, you're right. That was a perfect pass by Bo Levi Mitchell. That would have been another touchdown if he didn't pop out of nowhere. So obviously we knew he was a stud. Is this one of the greatest catches, both offensively and defensively, that you've ever seen?
Yeah, 100%. That was that's a highlight reel catch that we'll be talking about for years.
Yeah, no,
it's not a fluke because he's done it before. So great play.
I agree. Sheldon, I got another dud for you. This week, actually today, we find out that our former Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, no friend to this show, has been seen canoodling with Katy Perry of all people. Now, Katy Perry, pop star, she's had a bit of a rough go as of late. Poor selling album. She went to space and kissed the ground, even though she was in space for probably 5 seconds, and she took a lot of heat for that. But she's still Katy Perry. She still kissed the girl and she liked it. And she's hanging out with Justin Trudeau. So my question to you, I put Bo Levi Mitchell up forward. Justin Trudeau, Sheldon, stud or dud?
Come dud. Listen, you got two actors there. I like Katy Perry and I appreciated what she did early in her career. And I still think she's remarkably talented. I don't buy her albums anymore, just like I don't buy Justin Trudeau's BS. I don't think I ever have.
Did you buy her albums before?
I'm looking at two drama queens talking about the hard couple of years that they've had here in this country. I mean, I don't think either of them could go out there and be taken seriously in front of anybody in this country right now. Although I will say this, out of the two of them, if I was, if anything, I'd be a little bit jealous of Justin Trudeau because I still find her more interesting and more capable than he is. Again, we go back to childhood heroes. That Sesame Street thing that she did with Elmo when she first came out after the first album. I don't know if you saw it. Sexy as hell. She was always a star to me ever since then. But Justin Trudeau.
So you're not buying it. Hey, good for him. Good for him. He got lunch with Katy Perry. I'm sure there's a lot of guys that would appreciate it if they were single. You know what? Actually, Brittany went with her daughter last week to watch Katy Perry in Edmonton. She had played in Edmonton last week. So while I was puking and pooping at McMahon, my girlfriend was in Edmonton watching Katy Perry, and she said it was a phenomenal show.
Sure. Very
She
talented.
puts on a phenomenal show, and he shot his shot. It's kind of like the Travis Kelce shooting his shot with what's her name, Taylor Swift, and then it butt into the relationship that they have now. Who knows where this goes? But I'm gonna say for this, it's a little bit of a stud move for the former PM.
God, dude, I knew your true colors are showing, dude. I
gotta give the guy props. Like he's like, hey,
he's got people that could set him up for the whole reason he got elected is because he's a good-looking guy with nice hair. He's a trust fund baby that's never accomplished anything on his own, whereas she grew up in a tight-knit little traditional Christian family. She broke out on the world stage and created her own future. I just question her judgment because the whole thing she did on the rocket ship, kissing the ground after I'm an astronaut catapulted in space for 45 seconds.
Yeah,
I question her judgment. Katie, stick to singing. Keep writing those amazing songs and awesome videos. Leave this dud behind.
Well, Sheldon, I'm going to tell you what's going on right now. Right now, because I forgot to bring the charger for my phone, my computer, it's probably going to die me. So if I cut out, you're going to have to end the show. But last starter dud, did you get a chance to watch Happy Gilmore number 2 on Netflix?
I want to. It's on my list, but I had a family reunion this weekend, so I didn't see it.
So I watched it this weekend, and I thought it was an absolute stud. And it's too bad it took so long to come out. But this movie was full of cameos. Everyone from Travis Kelce, we just mentioned, Post Malone, to pretty much every PGA golfer on the roster for the last 30 or 40 years. And yeah, it was entertaining. No, Tiger wasn't there. Eminem was there. Yeah. Like everyone was in this movie, and it was entertaining. It was fun. The fact that it was on Netflix was fun. Adam Sandler's made some great movies on Netflix, Uncut Gems, and what was the basketball movie I really appreciate? I forgot the name. But this was up there. It was great. It had some classic happy elements. He has a family now.
Great movie.
So for me, it was a stud. It was entertainment. It was fun. It was excellent. And you know what's a good segue into welcoming Trey onto the show to talk very quickly about his attempt for the Alberta Open that's coming up. And guys, if I cut out, I'm going to say goodnight because my battery might die. You guys can close it up. But Trey,
come on in.
Jump on. Tell us what's going on. What's are you saying your prayers and doing your training like the Hulkster to get ready, or
maybe a little bit of both, probably.
Okay.
Looking forward to. I got in on the alternate list this year. After the little debacle we had earlier in the year. So yeah, I'm happy. I'm happy to get in for sure.
So you're on the alternate list, but now you're in? Is that what you're saying?
I'm in. Yeah.
You're in. Yeah.
I'm paid up. I'm ready to go.
Your way to the top.
Yes. Yeah.
You're in the show.
I'm in the show.
So what do you got to do to prepare? What do you got to do to prepare?
Practice beforehand. I got 12 or 13. I got 2 weeks ish. Before the tournament starts, and
hey, let me ask you a question. Totally off topic. You're a young guy. Katy Perry asks you out on a date. Are you like celebrating this or no? Are you like, hey man, this is awesome, telling all your buddies, or are you like, nah,
not for me.
Oh, you're a liar, Sheldon.
No. She's got to be 40 years old now or older, right? You remember when you were 19, like young Trey here. Sorry, 23. Yeah. I get it.
Okay.
But I believe you. But I'll tell you what, she was a catch back. If you were our age,
maybe 10, 15 years ago. But no, not for me anymore.
When you were 12,
I will tell you this,
when
Trey.
I was 12,
as you prepare, you can't spend every minute of the day on the golf course this next 2 weeks. But you know what you can do? You can go into your mind and you can play that opening tee every night of your life in your mind. Just visualize this game. See the success. You weren't necessarily expected to be there, but you are there now. Just play the game in your mind and get yourself ready to go. See yourself with a win. Yeah. You know the course, right? You've golfed this course before, right?
No, I've not. So I'm going.
You're screwed.
No. I played at practice round the day before it starts. So
yeah, okay, all right.
I will see the course once before, but mentally, I think I'll be all right. I consider myself pretty level on the course, at least during tournaments.
Yeah.
But
I'm saying play that course
whatever game
50
I show up
times
with
in your mind. Play that course 50 times in your mind before you ever get there.
Did you pick up one of those Callaway Happy Gilmore putters? Looks like the hockey.
Those look sweet, don't they?
Those do look sweet, and the Subway Happy Meal or whatever it is.
I've not tried out the shooter meal yet, but also sounds intriguing.
Shooter McGavin, I like what they did with Shooter McGavin.
He got his little redemption, didn't he?
He got his redemption.
That was a good little movie.
I
thought all the cameos were awesome. I like even the golfers who have never done any acting before in their life.
They were good.
I thought it was hilarious.
So it wasn't just a remake of the original formula. They brought something new to it.
Oh yeah, totally different from the first one.
Yeah.
A little egregious at times for sure, but
No, it was
I
good.
thought they really like it was mostly like the nostalgic aspect that I think most people enjoy about the movie.
It's kind of like our show, a little egregious and a little nostalgic, but every week we seem to hit it home. Guys, listen, I think we should wrap
one
it.
more.
Go ahead.
I got
go
one
ahead.
more thing to bring up too. I don't know if you guys have been following this tonight, but we'll send out on this. Thoughts and prayers are out to everybody along the west coast of United States and Canada, as well as Hawaii. I don't know if you've heard, Chevy. There was an earthquake just off the coast of Russia, and there's tsunamis right now hitting Japan. And it could be a serious night for Hawaii and even the west coast of Canada. I think we're going to miss the worst of it, but just as you're saying, you've already taken your vitamins, you've already done your training, but as you say your prayers for the day, like the Hulkster once said, just make sure we put a little bit of thought out to those guys, because I think we're going to be all right, but it's always scary when you hear tsunami. So
we are the ride with Chevy and Nasty and Trey joining us here. You guys are great for hanging in there with us all night, and keep the comments flowing. We're on social media at Chevy and Nasty. You know where to get us. We got a little wave in the back there from Regan. You guys are great. We'll be back next week. And thanks for joining us next week, episode 86. Ben Kahoo!